Hi, I'm Jo Henderson and welcome to another Dux-Soup 15-minute mastery session. Today we're delving into the features and benefits of LinkedIn automation using Dux-Soup Cloud Edition. Before I hand over to Giles, let's select the topic of the next 15-minute mastery session, which takes place on the 5th of May. Let me chuck this poll right at you, hopefully, she says. Please. Hopefully you can see that.
I think that's come up, yeah.
Yeah. Can you let me know in the Q&A if you can see it, guys, because it's not showing on my screen, but I'm hoping it is for you, which would help because I want to tell you what the topics are. So the two topics that we've got are creating first-degree campaigns using Pro, Turbo, and Cloud, or the basics of using LinkedIn profile. The basics of using LinkedIn, which consists of things like profile posting, follows, likes, and connecting. And the background with those two are obviously to help you create that perfect campaign is A. And B, Giles, you were saying that quite a few people often come on and they'll have an initial call with you. And the first thing is actually going through the basics of how to use LinkedIn. So we thought we'd offer that up as well as an option for the next one. So the next one is on the 5th of May. We only do it for 15 minutes. The Q&A follows up with 15 minutes. And then we go home and do our thing. So click away, click away, click away. I'm sure I can normally see the results as they're starting to come in. Oh, I can. At the minute, we're 50-50 neck and neck. Oh, Giles, this is...
It's nail-biting stuff, Jo.
This is nail-biting stuff. I'll leave that up there while I continue. So the Q&A window is open. So if any of you have any questions, do ask away. I'll answer what I can do. And I'll follow up with Giles at the end if there's anything pertinent to today. Giles will refer to a few articles during the session, and you can find these in the resource window on the left of your screen. On the right of your screen, you'll also have all the upcoming live events that we've got going on, so you can click on those and have a look. The recording will be available tomorrow, and you'll be emailed with the link. So all the resources that you can see in front of you will all be accessible in the on-demand session as well. So don't panic about trying to download everything and click on everything that we're referring to now. You'll get that all tomorrow. And without further ado, then I'm going to hopefully push the results to see what we're going to cover next, which will be
first-degree campaigns.
Yeah, so that's quite close though, isn't it? Just, yeah.
Just.
So that's what the next one will be. So if you click on the registration button on your right-hand side, that's what we'll be covering next time. And without further ado, I'm going to push the agenda slide up there and let Giles crack on.
Cool, thanks, Jo. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you, wherever you may be in the world. Thanks for joining us today. My name's Giles. I'm Head of Professional Services here at Dux-Soup. Anybody who's interested, you know, that vote there, that's great. That gives us a point for the next one. That doesn't mean we won't do the other topic at some point. We will get to them all, I'm sure. Keep watching if you're, you know, if you really want to look at that other topic as well. We will be covering it at some point in the future. So today we're going to do a whistle-stop tour of what Dux-Soup Cloud is. We're going to go through some of the basics, how to install it, how to get up and running, and then, you know, just going through a high-level list of all the features, all the things that you can do with Dux-Soup Cloud. Our Cloud edition was launched I think it's about 2.5 years ago now, basically due to customer demand. We're going to talk about what Dux-Soup is for anybody who's new to it. We'll do why, what, and how of Dux-Soup, and then we'll do a pretty a whistle-stop tour or a demo, and then hopefully have time for some Q&A at the end. So anyone who's new to these webinars, we do these every 2 weeks. I think I've been doing them for about 7 years now. I think we're on year number 7. I think it's something like that. 6.5, 7 years we've been doing these webinars. So for anyone who's new to them, who's not come across these before, what is Dux-Soup? Dux-Soup's a Chrome extension, which is available in some other browsers as well, as long as they're Chrome based. And it's a browser extension which allows you to automate actions on the LinkedIn platform. It mimics human behavior to make it look to LinkedIn like it's a human being doing this. And basically it works on any of the LinkedIn editions. That's the free version, the Business Plus, the Premium Career, the Sales Navigator, the Recruiter version, all of those things. Dux-Soup works against the list of profiles that you define, and then you decide what happens on those profiles. We've got 3 paid editions, Pro, Turbo, and Cloud. Today's focus will be the Cloud edition. If you've got questions about the other editions, you feel free to ask, and we can always point you towards the appropriate resources. Why Cloud? Why do we? Oops, sorry, wrong button. Why do we have the cloud version? Well, really, it was market demand. Yeah, a couple of years ago, we saw the evolution of these tools within the LinkedIn space, the automation space. And Dux-Soup had always been browser-based, working within your browser live, the Pro, and then subsequently the Turbo version. But more and more people wanted to be running multiple accounts or be able to run Dux-Soup while their device was not on and active, and that was a limitation, or is a limitation, of the Turbo and Pro versions. So this solution was what we came up with a couple of years ago, as I say, and yeah, based really upon customer demand. That's why we got to producing the cloud version. And what is it then? So it's still reliant on the extension. But what we have, basically, we have these, effectively containers, these servers sitting there. You synchronize your LinkedIn account with the Dux-Soup servers, and then that always-on session can execute whatever actions you're queuing up whenever you want them to be performed. So it gives you much greater level of flexibility. As I say, if you want that always-on solution, and you want Dux-Soup running, you want your LinkedIn account to be as efficient as possible. It's great for people who are, say, either running multiple accounts, or perhaps they're traveling a lot, you're traveling and your laptop's not always on, or you spend a lot of time maybe at customer sites and doing presentations and things like that. You don't want Dux-Soup perhaps running on your local hardware. This gives you the flexibility to be able to have that Dux-Soup deployment working all the time. So how do we then get Dux-Soup Cloud running? So what we do is we just go in, we install Dux-Soup, and we purchase the Cloud edition, and then just follow the instructions to connect your LinkedIn account, and then you'll then have all of the full suite of functionality of Dux-Soup available to you. So you have all of the campaigns that you're maybe familiar with in Turbo. You have all of the ready-made integrations that we have with a plethora of other platforms, and we also have the Open API. So there are lots of possibilities there. Got something to add there, Jo?
Yeah, I do. This is more for Giles than anything else. My question box seems to have disappeared off my screen, so I can't see any of the usual stuff about how many attendees we have and what questions are coming in. I don't want to sign out and then realise that I've closed the whole session. So I just want to let you know, Giles, that, and the audience, that if you're asking questions and I'm ignoring you, at the moment, that's why I'm ignoring you. Apologies. And Giles, it may be that you have to also field some of the questions at the end. But while you do the demo, I'll try and see if I can sort it out.
Well, in the meantime, perhaps if people do have questions and maybe the question box isn't working, you could always email them in. Do we have an email address they could send those questions to, Jo? Yeah, just in case, just as a sort of a, because I can't see the question box either at the moment.
Interesting. Okay. In that case then, shall we do info@dux-soup.com?
Yep, if you could let the team know that there'll be some questions coming in there. Yeah. That's info@dux-soup.com, and just put webinar question as your title perhaps on the email, and then the team can pick that up, and hopefully by the end of the webinar I'll have visibility of those questions.
Now, I don't know.
Apologies, I think something's obviously gone awry on the broadcast here.
I've had a couple of questions. I've responded already, but now the windows just seems to have disappeared, so apologies. But yeah, you carry on with your demo. I'll let the team.
That's all right. That was a good time to interrupt there. Now I'm trying to work out which screen do I want to share. I always have this problem. Bear with me 1 second. Right. Hopefully, you can now see my Dux-Soup page. You can see my Dux-Soup homepage, hopefully, the #1 LinkedIn automation tool. So what we're going to do now, we're going to talk through the Cloud Edition and what we do in order to get Dux-Soup Cloud up and running. Well, of course, if you haven't done it yet, first of all, you think you want to do is go to the Chrome Web Store. Excuse me, obviously all thumbs and fingers today, trying to type. So there we go. We have here the Chrome Web Store. You go into here, you install Dux-Soup from here, and then you see here I've got my Dux-Soup Cloud Edition sitting here within my browser. I always advise people when you install Dux-Soup, go in and make sure you pin the icon, because then you can see the status of your Dux-Soup environment. Now, once you've installed your Dux-Soup Cloud Edition, you'll then have access to the Dux Dash, and the Dux Dash is where you can go to do all of your campaign, your license management, everything you need to do is available here within the Dux Dash. Now, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to be sitting here, of course, logged onto your LinkedIn account. In this case, I'm logged onto my colleague's LinkedIn account, and we've got, Sales Navigator, et cetera, sitting here. So I'm logged onto that. And then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the Cloud Monitor. And there's a step-by-step guide when you first install this. But we're going to go to the Cloud Monitor, and we see here I've actually already got my cloud session up and running. When you first start this, it'll just say cloud session stopped, and you just say hit the start cloud session. Dux-Soup will then synchronize your locally accessed LinkedIn account here. In this case, it's Heidi's account. You've hit the synchron or the start session, and it takes maybe about 30 to 45 seconds. It then creates that cloud environment, that session there, and we can see here that session is now there and running. So that container is sitting there. I can close my computer down, and Dux-Soup will continue to run in that environment now. It's as simple as that. And what you'll now hopefully recognize is that a lot of these menu bar items here on the left are pretty familiar, but we'll go through do a quick run through of them in case anybody wants to touch on anything there. So the first thing, of course, you want to do is think about campaigns and reaching out. There's lots of campaign possibilities with Dux-Soup. I'm going to click on my drip campaigns here, and just for now, I've got most of these are turned off. But if we just scroll down to the bottom here, I've got one that we were playing around with earlier today. I've got a campaign here, which is I've got like a post, follow, and invite, and there's some follow-up engagement as well. So here I've written a campaign. It's got a title. I'm running it in regular LinkedIn. That's where I want Dux-Soup to execute my particular actions. I've then got an option here, rejecting profiles from other campaigns. I don't want to reach out to anybody who I've already put into a campaign. And then I've got my steps here. So I'm starting my campaign by liking a post. Then a day later, I'm going to be following a profile. Now, this may be a bit of overkill, but what I'm doing here is I'm just giving myself the best chance of my name being seen by the people I'm reaching out to. So I'm just thinking here of a sequence, making it look, they've liked my post. Oh, they're following me. Oh, look, I've had a connection request. Now, I've had a lot of discussions with people recently about connection request messages. And I don't have any hard and fast numbers on this, but anecdotally, blank connection requests seem to be working really well at the moment. I would put a caveat on that around the fact that it depends on the strength of your profile. And that's what we may have covered in the next webinar, but we're not going to. So we'll maybe cover it another time. Rule number one of LinkedIn is always make sure that your LinkedIn profile is engaging, well-rounded, well-researched, and well-presented. It's your advert to the world. No matter what version of LinkedIn you're running, whether it's free, paid, recruiter, whatever it might be, you need to put effort into your LinkedIn profile. So a blank connection request can work brilliantly if you've got a strong profile and you're targeting to appropriate people. Connection request goes, and then here I've got various messages which go out, hey, great to be part of your network. Let me know if you want to chat about anything, LinkedIn, lead gen, blah, blah, blah. We've then got some other follow-up messages going out. It's a very simple sequence. This very low-key, very non-intrusive, basically trying to strike up a conversation with people and asking around growth hacking, LinkedIn platforms, et cetera, different aspects of that particular area. Now, of course, this is just one example of a campaign you can build with Dux-Soup, where you're reaching out for new connections. You can, of course, build campaigns without connection requests, and for those, of course, you would be putting only first-degree connections. So you could nurture that network. We've got a brilliant article, which I forgot to put in the resources, a guy called Michael Simpson. Have a look at that one. Go to our blog post, type in Simpson, and you'll find a great article there about nurture sequences, making sure you're making the most of your first degree network. And we'll probably be covering that because that's what we're going to be covering in that next 15-minute session. Campaign is built, brilliant. All we now need to do is find some prospects to put into our campaign. And there's loads of different ways of doing this. Just conscious of time, it's a 15-minute session and we're on to minute 17. So let's make this short and sweet, but hopefully still useful. When you've got the cloud edition, you can actually enroll in lots of different ways. Here we are. I've got here a search result I've just done for look for digital marketing executives, second-degree connections. I've got a massive result here. From within my extension, I can now enroll people into my campaign. So if I press the enroll button here, I can then go down to my new campaign there, and I can then put in here, well, I could go in here and put 2,500 people into my campaign, leave Dux-Soup to run. Absolutely no problem at all. That's all very well. I can do that, no problems at all, but I need to leave this tab open then while Dux-Soup goes through and enrolls people. One of our newest features, which is super handy for cloud users, is I can actually now grab this URL. So I'm just going to copy this URL that I've got here. And now back in my dashboard, I can go into the funnel and we'll see here, I've got enroll from search. And this is where you can really make use of the cloud environment. You can put your search URL in here, select your campaign, there we are, and then we can decide how many we want to put in there. So maybe I want to put 250 in there, start enroll. That has now been queued up to be performed in my cloud environment. I can now turn my laptop off and Dux-Soup will enroll in cloud and it will start that process in the cloud environment. Simple as that, super, super handy, much more efficient than maybe like you do with Turbo. You go into a search result, you click up the top and you enroll, and then you leave Dux-Soup to scroll through the pages, etc., etc. You have to keep your computer on while it's doing the enrollments. This is a way more efficient way of running. You can run it from a search result here in Sales Nav, in regular LinkedIn, Recruiter, as long as you've got the appropriate subscription there. What we've done there is we've literally just queued up a command for Dux-Soup to go to that URL that we defined. It's going to enroll people into that campaign and just start those steps, as simple as that. Now, I'm not going to go through the funnel flow today because we are a little short of time, but just so you're aware, oh no, I don't want to do that. I want to go to all campaigns and I want to look at all of my data. Remember, here in the funnel, you get to see the progress of all of your campaigns. You can see how many you've enrolled, how many invites have gone out, all of the stats around this. We have updated this block here above, the stats block. That's been updated recently. So you'll see a few changes there and hopefully some slightly more comprehensive data than you did see before. So you see little changes here. We're always trying to improve the product as we go. So that's the stats bit there. But yeah, as I said before, you click in here, you can then interrogate the process, the progress of each campaign and decide what happens next to each of the people that respond to you. Something else that you should be aware of as well, when Dux-Soup is out and visiting profiles, it's gathering publicly visible data for you. You can go into the contacts block here and you can go in here and we just go, I don't know, let's go all here. We can go into per campaign. We can go into, we can go into per campaign. We can go per degree and per date range here. We can actually get Dux-Soup to give us the publicly visible contact information that's available against each of these profiles that Dux-Soup has opened. From here, we can also see discussion. So you see we've got the little chat box here. So if you're having a conversation with anybody, you would be able to see those conversations here as well. Really, really handy, really useful way of being able to look at contact and information really, really quickly. Really, really simple and straightforward way of doing things. We've been through the cloud monitor here. If your cloud session does shut down for any reason, there can be occasional logouts, depending on what LinkedIn are doing at their end. You'll get an email notification that it's shut down. Just go back to your cloud monitor page here and restart your cloud session, and that just reinitiates things. So that's where you go to do that. Of course, what you're queuing up and the activity log, you can see all of that detail there if you want, so you can see what you've got in your queue. And then finally, most importantly for many people, this is one of the reasons they like using this sort of a tool, you can connect Dux-Soup to a multitude of different platforms. What we're doing here is basically Dux-Soup is acting as an intermediary between LinkedIn and these platforms here. And the way that all of these integrations are built is that it's a kind of two-way street. So information can come from LinkedIn and then appear in Slack or HubSpot or Pipedrive, wherever it may be. And then subsequently from within Slack, HubSpot, Teams, Pipedrive, wherever, you can then handle those responses that come in. You can enroll people into your campaigns. You're basically using Dux-Soup as an intermediary to facilitate all of those actions that you want to, all of the data you want to gather, and then all of the actions that you want to trigger. That is essentially Dux-Soup Turbo. The one thing I've not talked about is pricing. But if you go back to our Dux-Soup homepage, and wherever you are based in the world, if you go to the pricing section, you'll see prices either in euros, in GBP, Great British Pounds, or US dollars. Just go to the appropriate section here, individuals, teams, or agencies, and you will see the price there if you were to pay on a monthly basis or if you were paying on an annual basis. So you've got two different pricing options there. And the idea there, of course, is it is cheaper to subscribe for a year. But yeah, you always reach out if you've got further questions. If you're looking at multiple seats, we also do offer tiered discounts. So if you're scaling up and you've got maybe 10 plus seats, then we automatically provide discounts there as well. I've covered as much as I wanted to do here in the demo. And while Joe may be looking to see if there are some Q&A, some questions coming through, I'm just going to talk about what we're going to be talking about next time on the webinar on the 7th of April. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a minute, so hopefully you can actually see the slides and everything. In a couple of weeks' time, we're going to be talking about some of our integrations, the most recently implemented ones. Slack, which we introduced quite a while back. But very recently, back in the last year, we introduced Microsoft Teams. I think it was November time. And then High Level, or sometimes known as Go High Level. I'm not quite sure whether it's Go High Level or High Level, but we'll use both just in case. We've got full integrations in line with all of our other integrations with these platforms now, and we'll be going through those in the next webinar. Hopefully that's useful for everybody, and that will be covering anybody who's a subscriber to Dux-Soup Turbo or Dux-Soup Cloud. Remember, all of our integrations are included in Turbo and Cloud at no extra cost from a Dux-Soup perspective, so you just need the appropriate subscription level of those platforms there. It looks like the Q&A might be working again, Joe.
It is. I've managed to fix it. Don't ask me how, but we do have a couple.
How did you fix it, Joe?
Oh yeah, let's not get into that. Sam has asked, can I export my list emails from Dux-Soup from campaigns as CSV or to our MailChimp CRM or Apollo?
So you can do that via the contacts section that we talked about just now. So from within the Dux Dash, if you go into there and you look down the left-hand side, you've got the contacts button. If you've seen an email address, or if whatever contact information Dux-Soup has seen during the process of the actions that it's taken, you will see the publicly visible contact information, which may, of course, include email addresses. It depends upon people's privacy settings within LinkedIn as to whether you see them or not. But absolutely, you can then download that as a CSV file, or indeed, I believe I've seen people using Zapier in order to integrate Dux-Soup with MailChimp. I believe that is something that people have done. So as you get email addresses through Dux-Soup campaigns and people connect with you and you get those email addresses, then automatically forwarding that data into MailChimp. But yeah, absolutely, you can export it as a CSV file from within the Dux-Dash contacts section there.
Okay. Mark has asked, do we need premium on LinkedIn to use the Dux-Soup Cloud?
That's an awesome question, Mark. And I perhaps should have mentioned this earlier. No, it's one of those things where long-standing free LinkedIn users don't seem to have a problem. New accounts, we tend to see people get logged out a lot if you're using a free LinkedIn account. LinkedIn seems to be putting extra security on newly created LinkedIn accounts at the moment. If you are running a free LinkedIn account, I would highly recommend getting verified as quickly as possible. Get your account verified through the LinkedIn process that they've established there. If you're using Dux-Soup Cloud and you're doing stuff at volume, then you probably should be considering using a paid version of LinkedIn, would be my honest opinion. Now, remember, there are lots of different paid versions. You've got Premium Career, which I think can be as little as like $20 a month if you pay annually. Your Premium Career, Premium Business, Business Plus, Premium Pro Plus, I don't know what it is. There's a multitude of them. Then you've got Sales Navigator, and then of course you've got Recruiter. But you've got various flavors of each step, and you can base it anything from like $20 a month for that Premium Career all the way up to $500 a month for Recruiter. If you can get a good deal on Sales Navigator, I'd say that that's definitely worth considering, because it gives you much greater ability with messaging and with searching and building good quality lists. So that is probably what I would recommend if you were going to say, if you're going to hold a gun to my head and say, which would you go for? I would personally think about, if I'm doing things at scale on LinkedIn, I would consider an investment in Sales Navigator, to be honest.
And also, Mark, I think they often do free trials for that for a month or a couple of months. So you could try it, try the sales nav for free and see what you think to get more.
Yeah, and I've spoken to people in the past who, for example, they've signed up for Sales Navigator for their free month and they cancel it straight away. They get the free month, and 6 months later you get another free trial, and then 6 months later, so you can basically 1 month every 6 months you can get a free trial of Sales Navigator without having to spend any money. So do think about that. It can be a very useful way of working the system, shall we say.
And Mark's also said he could possibly do with a bit of help getting his Go High level set up. I don't know if that's a booster session or quite what you'd recommend there.
To be honest, Mark, my first recommendation would be to reach out to our support team. Our support team are amazing. They will be able to assist as much as they can virtually. And then if we need to set up a quick call between you and myself, or maybe you and my colleague Scott, I know Scott's been playing around with the Go High level integration a little more than I have. It's on my list of things to do this week in preparation for the next webinar. Now, I've played around with it a bit, but I haven't played with it around extensively. I've been familiar. I played around with Go High level. I guess it's probably about 3 or 4 years ago when it was recommended to us by one of our webinar contributors, and yeah, now we've at last got the integration. I'm expecting great things there, and lots of people I know, for example, use the white labeling facility that you have there within that platform. Very, very powerful, very useful, and very customizable. But yeah, the integration is all covered within our support documentation as well. So if you go to our support pages or the help center that you can find, go to our homepage, and at the menu bar at the top you'll find the help center. Those are our support pages, and you'll find all of the integration documentation there as well.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. That's all for the questions. Can
I just add a couple of little things there to just to refer to a couple of the things that we've put into the resources. We've got a Getting Started with Dux-Soup Cloud blog post amongst the resources. Easy step-by-step guide to get you up and running as quickly as possible with Dux-Soup Cloud. So our support team are there on hand to help as much as possible as well. I've also included an article from our support pages around all of the cloud stuff. So there's all of the different ways that you can enroll, because I've shown you one way there with the URL, but you can upload files, you can do all sorts of different things and use Dux-Soup Cloud in a multitude of different ways to make sure that you're being as efficient as possible. If you're investing in this sort of a tool, you want to make sure you're getting the most out of it, and hopefully those guides there will help facilitate that.
Cool, thank you. So once again, we've got the integrating Slack, MS Teams and High Level is the next session on the 7th of April. And then following that one, we've got Maximize Your Sales Navigator ROI with LinkedIn Automation. So that will be a Sales Nav special. All the links are on your screen there to book, as is the next 15-minute mastery session. So book away. And without further ado, I'm going to say goodbye and thank you for attending, and apologies for the Q&A hiccup. Hopefully it will not happen next time. Thanks, Giles.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.